Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back from the ad break. You are still watching Prime Live. Now, up next, we are joined by Tara Williams, and she's the CEO and co-founder of 1000 Days of Grace Foundation, a dynamic organization committed to improving the lives of mothers and their babies during the critical first 1000 days of their life. Now, Tara's dedication to providing comprehensive maternal health care, nutrition, mental health support, and parent education to those in need is truly inspiring. Now, through her work at 1000 Days of Grace, Tara is leading the way in breaking cycles of poverty and promoting a healthy childhood development, one family at a time. Thank you so much for joining us on Prime Life, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege to be here.
You are welcome. I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly. Is it Tara or Tyra?
Tahira, Tara.
Tahira. Okay, all right. Because I saw it was written Tara, so I wasn't really sure on how to say it. But I mean, this is such a beautiful organization that you have. Can you, maybe before we even find out all the details that are packed within it, can you please tell us what the foundation is all about, the history and the vision of it?
So it basically started from, I want to say, a lived experience as a mother. When I had my first son 10 years ago, it was the most incredible experience. So the birth with my midwife, and from doctors to all the specialists, it was incredible. And I went in thinking that every woman has this sort of experience. And in my ignorance saw that, this is not what's happening across the board. And that inspired me to relearn and go on a new education on this whole world. So coming from corporate, coming into this clinical field as a doula, as a lactation consultant, and that really mom support provider. I was in private practice for a while. And then I said to myself, this can't only be for people who can afford it, but it should be for everyone, because every mom and every baby deserve this sort of care. And that's where myself and my two fellow co-founders founded 1000 Days of Grace Foundation, where we started to support moms at Rahima Musa Mother and Child Hospital here in Johannesburg.
That is such a beautiful initiative. Now, obviously, this foundation is very crucial for a child's life and the mother's life during, that first 1000 days. And it's also very crucial for the child's development. Now, what are some of the most pressing issues that you've come across while working with the different mothers and kids? And how do you intend on addressing them or teaching others to address them?
So when you look at those first 1000 days, right, so it's the period from pregnancy until when the child is 2 years old. When you look at that period, it's your most vital period. So what happens in your first 1000 days really determines what's going to happen for the rest of your life. So it's a case of investing in that period of time in terms of mental health, in terms of physical health, in terms of nutrition. If you invest in that, you're basically investing in early childhood development, you're investing in education, and you're investing in a better economy, because these children will grow up to be contributors to the economy, and they will grow up to go to school and finish school. They will grow up healthy and they will thrive. So we go from surviving and just wanting our children to survive to giving them a space where they can thrive in that. And that's how 1000 Days of Grace Foundation, we as an organization, are putting ourselves into clinical spaces where we're providing more, where we're listening to mothers, where we are supporting them not only in the clinical but soul. We're supporting them in their mental, so it's a mind, body, soul experience. And we really look at that whole person and then looking at that economy, right? So it's an economy of mom, baby, family, support, and a collaboration between all healthcare professionals.
And let's talk about funding, because I do know that with every foundation that is obviously given back, sometimes funding can be a very tricky and a difficult thing to achieve. Now, how does 1000 Days of Grace Foundation secure the funding necessary to provide these essential needs?
So we're a very young NGO, right? We've been around only for just over 2 years now. And every NGO in the start is not well funded. And I think many NGOs could share this, that funding is rare and it's scarce, right? So what we have been doing is it's actually founder funded. So all of us as the founders have funded this vision that we truly believe in, and now we've built a model that works. You know, we've built a model that is working and has helped hundreds and hundreds of women. And I want to say that we don't have stats, we've got stories. So we have stories of women who we've supported and continue to support through this journey. And that's why we call funders, you know, to come and fund a project that we started, we believed in, and we funded up until this point. And, you know, as we reached our 2-year mark, amazingly, we have so many supporters, and little, you know, clients from our private clients that we've supported before. Just the community at large is coming on to support the mission because they can see the story.
That is so beautiful. And speaking of support, if there's anyone that's watching right now that wishes to support, it could be a company, it could be an individual, not only in a sense of monetary value. Are there any also like volunteering spots available where they can assist? Maybe if you can just highlight or share with us ways in which people can show support to the foundation.
Absolutely. So we want to partner with people. We don't just want you to give us money and run away, right? We want you to see the change that you're making effectively in the lives of these moms and babies. So we will be starting a volunteer program where volunteers can come from different entities as well to experience different levels of what we're doing. So sometimes it won't be like patient client facing, but it would be support in other ways. So whether it's creating a little pack for a mother in need, whether it is coming to take a walk with a mother that, you know, she needs just for her mental health, from helping us, you know, create a function or a fundraising event. So we really want people to be involved and to walk the journey with us in giving this support in the first 1,000 days, because you know that you feel something different when you actually experience an environment or you experience doing something. You feel like really part of it, and that's what we want. It's not a us and you situation, but it's our organization and it's our responsibility together as a whole to make this work for moms and babies.
That is so beautiful. And what advice would you give for people, others that are looking to make an impact into this, like maternal health and childhood development, just by also in your answer, by highlighting the importance of childhood development and how important it is for the child and but also for the mother?
Absolutely. So, you know, for anyone coming into this space, I want to say be a lifelong learner. Every mom and baby, every family teaches you something different. So when you are consistently learning and when you are consistently growing, every day you will go through life thinking, I know nothing, but I also know everything, right? So you consistently go between that and you support the mom from that space. Now, childhood development starts in pregnancy, and that's why there's a very big focus on this 1,000-day period. So when we invest into a pregnant mom, we don't realize the ripple effect that we're creating over generations. So investing in childhood development is investing in future generations and also paving the way forward. So that is the deep importance, and it's not something that is, you know, it shouldn't be taken lightly, the opportunity to teach a child and to allow a child to be healthy and to experience life differently to all the generations before.
That's beautiful. Now, where do you see the field of maternal health and early childhood development going in the next coming years, and how can we as a global community work at improving that?
I can say where I want to see it go,
Yeah.
you know, rather than where I know that it's going.
Yeah.
But I would like to see people give women a voice, you know, where women can be heard in terms of what they're experiencing, in terms of their symptoms. And then also for us as a global movement for mothers and children, and really advocating for the support they deserve, you know, just to get someone a dignified birth sometimes is a push, right? We have to fight for it. So beyond fighting just for a dignified birth, we want to fight for prolonged support. We want to fight for a mother receiving support from the day she finds out she's pregnant, even before that, when she's preparing to fall pregnant, when she's a teenager, to teach her about her body, to teach her about what's happening around her, what's good for her, what's bad for her, and then seeing that relationship grow throughout the pregnancy, then throughout her birth, throughout her lactation journey. So we want to see full care and support for women where they no more gaslighted. No longer are women gaslighted in what they're feeling, what they're experiencing, but they are heard and seen.
That's beautiful. And before I actually wrap up the conversation, I want to find out about you. I mean, working with obviously different families, different moms and babies, like you've mentioned, can be a lot, right? And you have probably thousands of stories to tell. But I want to find out where you find the inspiration and the motivation to keep going, regardless of what you are faced with.
So when you sit in front of a mom and she looks at you and she smiles at her baby and you see the bond, you see the connection, or when she sends you a message to say, oh my gosh, what you helped me with has really worked and we are really thriving and we are growing, and you see that development as you go on, that really gives you the push, because you're not always going to win every day. You're not always going to have everyone telling you what a good job you're doing. But that moment, just looking at that mom and baby, and even seeing, we work with a lot of neonatal ICU babies. So we see babies that were between 700 grams and 1.2 kgs. We see them growing up in front of our eyes, literally, and we see them developing and thriving, and then they smile at you, evidently, eventually, when they come to like a 3-month or 4-month checkup. And that's where you see, that's really gives you the motivation to continue, because we're doing it for that generation, we're doing it for these children. So that's what motivates us, and it's not easy, like you say. It's not easy to show up with limitations on things like funding and environment and people and all of these things, but definitely those little babies are what keeps us going.
I mean, that's so inspirational. And I mean, thank you so much for joining us this evening and for sharing your journey. And I mean, the great work that the Grace Foundation is doing for those mothers and children. So continue doing the great work, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Viewers at home, that was Tyra Williams, who was just telling us about the 1000 Days of Grace Foundation and the great work that they're doing for, childhood development, children and their mothers during their first 1000 days, which are very critical for both the mother and the child. But on that note, we will head over to a quick break. We'll see you right after.